Uh, can you hear me? We're just gonna go. Can you hear me?
Yes, can you hear me?
Yeah. All right. Cool.
Hello.
I'm not. There we go. Now we're live.
Now I can hear you. What's up, bro?
Hey, what's up, dude? You know, we run a really tight professional ship here. I like to start things off by giving panic to the guest, make them think nothing's working. There's no video, there's no audio.
Bro, since I started, it wouldn't load up, and then I remember it was like, oh, you got to switch to Chrome because I'm so used to using Safari, and Safari was just not having it.
It doesn't. You know what? That's what happened when I went on Nick's show. When I went on Nick's show, I was using Safari, no audio, shitty looking video, and it wasn't until afterwards I'm like, oh, I should have done this whole thing in Chrome. What the hell? And
I remember like I've done this before. It's been a while, and I was like, oh, let me just get. I should have just went with Chrome from the start, but we made it. We're here. We're
here. Everybody say hi to Barr. Guess what? We rose this motherfucker from the dead. He's back. He's on.
Yes. As everybody keeps saying, oh, I died. What's up with that?
We don't know what to do. We've been lost sheep. We've been wandering around. Like, where? And we're gonna get into that because I want to bring all that up. But first, if you guys have questions for Barr, throw a Q in the chat. We're gonna do. See, look right there. Look, he's alive. Look at this. They don't know what's going on.
They can't believe it.
All my Instagram messages were, "Where'd you find him? How'd you dig him up?" I said, "Took a lot of work and a lot of money. You won't believe what this bitch cost me to bring him on my show today."
Hey, I'm here though.
He's here. You were in Europe. I was like, saw some pictures and photos. I wanted to talk about that real quick because, dude, that looked like, was that a dream come true for you? Like,
yeah, it was, bro. Not to get into like the heavy details with it, but essentially, I was having a lot of immigration issues here in the U.S. So that trip was just, it was a long time coming. The fact that I finally was able to make it, it was a dream come true. So it was awesome.
Where'd you go? Did you just kind of like do like one of those packages where like we're just hitting all Europe?
No. So when I started YouTube, actually, I was actually really into like travel vlogs and things of that nature. So I had kind of like, I always like wanted to do like a Euro trip. So we just try to hit as many places as possible. And right now it's like the slow season. So I was like, all right, we're going now. So originally it was just supposed to be Paris. It was supposed to be just a weekend trip. And I was like, man, all these places are really close. So so let's just go. So we just extended the trip.
And was it like a nice little add-on? Did they try to upsell you like a DJ right there? Like, hey, I got you. You're already in Paris. Let's go to London just this.
So I did it myself. I booked everything myself.
Okay.
There was no third party in it. I was just like, I just literally changed my flight and then I just looked for accommodations. So we were with no tour. It was just me.
What was your favorite part? Like, what place did you go to? You're like, it exceeded your expectations when you were there.
Definitely Paris. Paris was definitely like, it was culturally different. When we went to the Netherlands and London, it started feeling a lot more like the US. Paris was just, if you're into like really elegant, like bougie, like that kind of stuff, then you'll like Paris. It's very the romanticize is well worth it, I would say.
It's real.
Yeah, it's real. It's really elegant. Like you don't see anybody dressed bummy because I'm so used to like New York City here. Yeah. So I thought I was gonna get like, I thought I was gonna get that kind of vibe, but man, everybody's just like so well put together. Like when we got there, I'm like in sweats and stuff, and we landed there first thing in the morning, like 7 a.m. And we were just chilling for like a long flight. And we get out, and everybody's like dressed really nice, and I'm like, oh man, we're like really underdressed to be outdoors right now.
They're like right away, like, sacre bleu, you Americans come into our country wearing your sweatpants, put some clothes on.
You know what? A lot of people leading up to it, the people were like, oh, the French, they're kind of weird about Americans coming and this and that nature. But we didn't experience none of that. Everybody was really street. We did do like a lot of research, just kind of learn some etiquette as far as like French goes. Like, they're very about how you start conversation with people. You got to start with like bonjour and things like that, and they get offended if you don't. Things like that. So there's like some etiquette things that Americans, I guess, don't know, or like things of that nature that we just kind of knew. So we didn't really experience any of that. But yeah, a lot of people were like, watch out for this, watch out for that. But we didn't experience any of that. If like, just like be bonjour, and they're also not like. It's like Latin America. Like here in the U.S., you're so used to like you see somebody, you smile and you say, "Hey." Over there, it's just like everybody's in their own world, and you just kind of.
Oh, they ignore each other.
Yeah, they don't like acknowledge you unless you actually go start a conversation with them, which is similar like in Latin American countries. Like nobody's gonna like just how's the weather, kind of.
Yeah.
About that's a very U.S. thing, and people like when they go over there, they're like, oh, they're rude kind of vibe. But
so that bums me out because I thought it was gonna be a lot like the opening to Beauty and the Beast. Everyone's walking around with fresh bread. Just going bonjour, bonjour, just hugging and kissing people.
Well, I mean, yeah, you're gonna be saying a lot of bonjour. Like every like interaction you start has to be bonjour.
They won't, or they'll be like, I remember when I was where I can't remember which country it was, but one of the like cultural warnings that they gave you were like, if you don't point at anybody or go like this, they're like because that meant like, hey, you're a hoe, come on over here, let's get it on.
Yeah, I mean, again, we didn't experience any of that because we heard all like the rumors, like like about France and stuff. It wasn't in my experience, but I'm speaking for myself. Also we went at it's winter, so it's not like the busy time of year. So like right now, right now I'm getting back into weddings, and all the wedding vendors are like in a good mood and things of that nature. But like come September, everybody's like, oh, like everybody's just like over it.
Yeah. Did you try to book a gig out there so you could write it off or something?
No, because it was kind of last minute. It was a very last minute thing that we booked it. As soon as we got the green light from immigration, we were like, all right, we're leaving. Like, so I got the green light from immigration in December, and we left in January. So it was just like 30 days, like just like that.
So with it, I don't want, if you don't want to get into it, you don't have to. But were they not letting you leave, or you just had to square things away here?
So. In layman's terms, I was in the U.S. and like on a work permit, essentially. The work permit lets me stay and live here, but I don't essentially, I'm not a citizen. So with the work permit, essentially, you can go back home or you need a reason to travel. If you want to say, I want to go sit on a beach somewhere, the U.S. is going to be like, hey, man, F you. Like, so if
you're going to go to the beach, you better work.
Right? Yeah, exactly. Like so exactly. And that's because I was paying for, like essentially an overstayed visa. You come here on a tourist visa and then you just stay forever. And then you make this your home. Then you adjust your status. So I was able to adjust my status, essentially say, oh, you can live and work here because you don't know any other place but here. So that's essentially where I was. And then I was finally, I've been fighting to adjust that. And I finally got the green light in December. So that's why. Yeah, so essentially I was stuck here. I couldn't leave.
You're not going anywhere. You cancel that vacation. You're stuck here. Grab a shovel.
No, believe it or not, man, I was really, 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 really nervous because I had left the country before, but it was always like they knew where I was going. Like this is the first time that I was actually like not reporting to immigration. Like, hey, I want to go here. Like this is the first time of me like spur of the moment. Like I'm out.
Yeah.
And so it was just weird not having to check in with them. So I when we were at the airport, I was like, oh, this is my last time in the USA. This is the last breath. Yeah, and I was like, I was joking with my girl. We were like in the airport. This is the last time I'll be in the U.S. This is the last time I'll see New Jersey.
Just looking out the window, like wave by to the Statue of Liberty, baby. This is
as soon as we landed, I'm like, man, this place is awesome. Like I'm okay staying here.
Oh man, I love it. So you did London, Amsterdam, any food that you experienced that you just had never done before, and you're like, man, I would love to have that again.
Oh, so we went to this place that I think they have it now in New York City. One of the standout places was in France, we went to like this restaurant. They don't even ask you what you want. It's just steak and fries. That's it.
Okay.
So you
Like
sit,
Cane's. It's like Cane's. You go get chicken
yeah,
fingers and fries.
everybody says Cane's is really good. We actually are getting one this year, so I'm like really pumped because everybody says it's
Bro,
the best.
it's so I love the story too. It was like
Yeah.
some college kid that was in a class, and it was like an economics class. So like come
Yeah.
up with a business idea, and he said, I'm gonna come up with a restaurant that just serves chicken fingers and fries." And everyone was like, "You stupid idiot!"
Yeah.
And then he ended up doing it. And there's nothing better than going to a restaurant and they're just incredible at one thing.
Yeah.
You know, the line moves so, bro. Like
Yeah.
I come back from weddings and they're open late too. So I hope that yours will stay open late.
Yeah, man, I
Imagine.
can't wait. My sister takes a trip to Philly. She's in college, so her friends are all about it. She's like, "We take a trip to Philly. I'm so excited. We're finally getting one." I'm like, "You go to Philly for chicken fingers?" She was like, "You don't understand. It's that good." I'm like, "Okay."
Now I don't know if they're worth like a long ass travel time.
Yeah,
know,
I mean, for her, she's from New Brunswick going to Philly. That's about maybe like an hour
Oh
and a
my
half.
God.
Yeah, just for chicken fingers. So
All right. Well, I'm not gonna hype it up that much. Like
Yeah.
I think she's overhyped it for you.
Yeah.
But I will say,
Yeah,
at
well,
1 o'clock in the morning, chicken fingers taste really good on your way home.
bro, that's so bad too. Like when I used to do a lot of clubs, that was like the thing. After the club, you go eat. But now I like try to cut back on that just because as you get older, it just doesn't hold well.
Oh, dude, I know. Like, I'm realizing too. I can only have a certain amount of beers at the end of the night,
Yeah.
or I'm blasting away. Like I was like a foghorn in my room. I felt bad for my wife. I was like, "Am I waking you up?" Like I don't know what happened. Like,
Yeah.
and then eating late at night, it's harder to burn that weight off.
Yeah.
It's not like when we were 20. How old are you right now? How old are you?
I'm 31.
Okay, so I got 10 years on you. So just
Yeah.
letting you know, like, enjoy the canes now, because
Yeah.
when you get older, it's there. It's a reminder.
Yeah, because after a gig, you always get. I mean, we do like because we work a lot in North Jersey, so every time we're coming home, we're on the Parkway. There's a 24-hour Dunkin' that's on the Parkway, so we always stop and get like midnight, like middle of the night coffee. That's like the only thing that we do.
Okay, so that doesn't keep you up all night though. I mean, this is turning into old guy talk, but
Well, see, I'm Spanish, so like we start feeding, coffee to like as you're like children. So coffee does nothing to me. I have like 6 cups a day, I would say.
oh my Jesus Christ! Oh, so is it like instead of breast milk, it's cappuccinos? Is that kind of
I mean, that's more like a European thing. We do coffee black. But for my country, especially like Nicaragua, it's very common to see like coffee for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Like that's like your beverage. That's what you drink.
Because I know the Italians are all like that's me, but that's like the cappuccino. But you can't have that at night. That's a midday breakfast coffee, right? But you don't care.
Yeah.
It's like evening, no decaf, just straight. Just bring me the beans.
Yeah, and it's also like when we were in Paris, we noticed that they do that a lot too. Paris is a lot of drinking coffee and sitting. That's what a lot of Latin American countries are, believe it or not. It's just sitting on like a porch and just people watching and drinking coffee. So so we're used to it. I drink a lot of coffee.
So what's the best? You said Dunkin' Donuts. You like Dunkin' or?
Hell no, I hate the Dunkin' Bro, but it's the only thing that's open.
It's open, right? It's open.
Yeah. My biggest thing is just consistency, and Dunkin' lacks consistency. So like, if I get, one of the beauties about McDonald's is I know how a Big Mac is gonna take. No matter if I go where you live or where I live, it's gonna taste the same.
Yeah.
Dunkin', bro, it's like a hit or a miss. Like you go to one Dunkin', the coffee tastes different than the one, the next block over. It's just I hate that about it. There's
and
no
you wonder
consistency.
how, because they got recipes they're passing over. But I think it all depends on who's working. Did they give a shit?
Oh,
You know
bro,
what I mean? Like, are the
fucking hate-
workers like, here's your fucking coffee.
Bro, I hate Dunkin'. I hate it so much, but middle of the night, it'll do the job.
It'll do the job for
Yeah.
sure. All right, so we're gonna address the quick elephant in the room here now that I got Barr on. Everybody wants to know, where the fuck have you been, homie? That's kind of what I'm calling this segment. And I know when we chatted in like AC a couple times, the burnout is for real, right? With this, like, I don't think a lot of people understand. Like, they think we're getting like a paycheck from YouTube.
Yeah.
No, this is out of the kindness of our heart. We're creating this content for you, and there's obviously some money that comes in through YouTube and when you get some deals or whatever, but eventually it just kicks in and you're just thinking like, I don't want to do this anymore. Is that's kind of what's been hitting you, right?
Yeah, I mean, and I did it for a long, like, I feel like now there's like a bigger community of DJs, but when I started, man, I felt like it was just, there was like nothing out there. I was just like, I just started making these videos, not knowing that there was nothing out there, but now there's just like so much. And I did like, I did a lot of videos, bro. I did like, I think I have like 400 videos, maybe even more, because I took some of them down, some of them got flagged. Um, it all started a couple years ago. I got a strike, like a straight up strike. Like they were gonna we're gonna shut down your YouTube channel. So I had to put a pause for like 6 months because they, my channel was like super limited. Like I lost a ton of functions. So basically I had to go, I think it was 9 months or something like that without getting another strike. So I was like freaked out. So I had to just flat out stop. So that was one of the causes. The other thing was just straight up burnout. It stopped being fun. And then, when it stopped being fun, that's kind of when I really stopped kind of like making videos. And then around that time, the format changed. Like we went from watching long form formats like gig logs to everyone just wants to watch snippets on like TikTok and things of that nature and reels.
Yeah.
So the format also changed. And I was just like, I don't know. I just didn't want to hop on it. It just wasn't for me. Like one of the coolest things about making the videos, and I always said this, I just want to make something that was fun to watch. And you could see that from the videos because I did like a lot of like cinematography, time lapses, and things of that nature, just because I thought it looked cool. But as it became quick, now everybody just wants like the meat of it. Like they don't want you to polish it up and make it look nice, things of that nature. People
you could see like what gets skipped in your videos,
exactly,
and all that like fancy shit that you try to do, like I did a gig log at a museum, and I thought, it'd be great to kind of do a little montage, show all the pieces of art.
Exactly, and that's what I used to do.
Skip. I could tell like that was the shit that everybody was like, "Fuck you, we don't want your Ferris Bueller bullshit."
And I did really well with that because before people didn't know, I guess, what they want, and then once they like now there's more people doing it. Now we just want this, so you kind of figure out the math based on what's there, but. For a lot of this is just creativity. We're just like as DJs, we're creatives, and it just after a while I just got bored of it. And then I felt what kind of hurt me a lot too was the product reviews. I really despise doing those, man. It was just not fun at all. And when I started a YouTube channel, everybody's like, "Oh, the free shit, the free shit, the free shit." Everybody talks about the free shit, and you're like, it's nice, but after a while, you're just like, I don't want none of this stuff. And then
it felt like a job, right?
Yeah, it was straight up feeling like a job. I was like overanalyzing things, and then like a new like Pioneer, like I don't know if it was last year or 2 years ago, they were just bugging, bro. Like every week it was a new controller, and I was like, they moved the button from like 2 inches down to 3 inches up. Like it's just like I was just like, bro, this
now
is
in
all
white.
It's all the same shit, and it just all started to blur. And it's like. Now there's a rain, but it has a Pioneer logo. Like it was just like everything was just starting to blur. Like when the motorized platter started coming out, like everything was just like it's all the same. And I just like it just clicked in my head. I'm just like, bro, it's all the same. And it just like I got that in my head, and I was just like, I just don't care anymore.
You couldn't get hype about it, and that's what
I couldn't, bro. And like my phone would start blowing up. What do you think about the new thing? And I'm just like, there's a new thing.
It's just like the old thing we just had.
Yeah, and I don't know. It's just I guess it's just the cynical in me. I just stopped caring.
Well, it's tough because I know there is there's a little bit of a hubbub recently about some of the Pioneer controllers that came out and DJs reviewing them and sort of like, are you being authentic? Are you being fake? You're being paid. And
I saw that because Cleveland texted me because I guess Rick made a video or something like that. But I was like, I don't know what they're talking about. Like I have no idea what's going on.
Yeah.
Is it like a battery pattern controller? Honestly, I have no idea what it is. Like,
I love it. I love you have no idea. It's like our own little DJ drama that happened that only like the small niche of people like were aware of. Even though I was telling my wife about it, she's like, "Why do you guys give a fuck?" I'm like, "Hey, this is serious right now. We're all really concerned about this situation."
Enlighten me. What happened?
It was really so the Omnis Duo came out. Pioneer dropped like a battery power controller, like an all-in-one, which you don't need the laptop. Yeah. And then, they have Cleveland, Nick, and Mojax and some of the other guys, Digital D. They get these right because they sign NDAs or whatever. Yeah. And so they all dropped videos at the same time, and they were like reviews. And then Rick said is like, hey, you're not gonna get like a legit review out of these guys because they sent it to them,
Yeah.
and he was like, I hate this controller, I think it's shit, which is fine. But I think what happened was he was like kind of calling out their character, like they're lying to you guys or whatever, and then there was the slapback track that came back out,
Yeah.
like, hey, you're coming against us, and then Rick kind of released an apology video. So that whole thing was interesting to me because recently I've been starting to get some stuff. I'm
Yeah.
partnering up with Sweetwater now, and I never thought like, oh, what's the line to cross where you becoming disingenuous and you're like, oh my god, this is the greatest controller you've ever seen in your life, and still be able to call out like the things that you don't like about it. Have you ever felt yourself in that situation where has anyone ever
Oh,
sent you anything and you're like, this is dog shit. I can't
oh,
even review it.
absolutely, absolutely, bro. I had a couple of ones where I just bailed straight up on the review, and I was just like, bro, like I'm not talking about this, and they got offended. I Bro, even like the lightest things. I remember I did one for Bose, and I think they got offended because I was like, it's a little wobbly, and they got really upset. They like came back with notes and shit,
Oh,
like,
dude.
oh, like, can you like say it's like stable? Like they're just like reviewing it. And I was just like, bro, it's wobbly. It's just like it's not a big deal. It's a great speaker. Like I said nothing but great things about it, but I, never heard from them again.
Yeah.
Um I think I made another one. I forget what company it was. I was like, oh, this thing scratches easy. And then, they got offended. I was like, oh, we use a great powder coat. I'm like,
So that's the fine line to walk, right? I
yeah.
um I had to
Uh
cut something out of my Hercules T7 controller.
yeah,
This one may have been justified.
yeah,
I had a scene in it where I said it does other things than just be a controller, and I did like a cutaway. I was just trying to be funny, and I did a scene where I had my wife come in and pull the blankets back, and I was like naked with the controller in the bed, and I
yeah,
blurred everything out from the waist down,
yeah.
and I had like goggles on. Um, and they were like, "Hey, Aaron, that violated our sexual content thing or whatever." So I was like, "Okay, I'll cut that out." I feel
Yeah,
like that was an okay thing, like a note, like, "Yeah, we don't
yeah,
want to see you fucking the controller because
yeah,
it doesn't do well. A, it doesn't do that.
yeah,
That's not what the holes are for. You're supposed to
yeah,
put a mic cable in there.
yeah,
But I think like you're right. If you say it wobbles, and everybody knew that tower on the Bose, it wobbles.
yeah,
So it's like a
yeah.
fine line you got to walk, and then they come out like you said. You get notes, and you're like, yeah, but I got to be
Yeah.
honest. Otherwise, you lose your credibility.
Yeah, and after a while, like I said, it all became homework. And then the other thing that pissed me off, Pioneer did this to me a couple of times where they were like, "Hey, we're gonna send you this," and they're like, "We need it back in like 2 weeks," and I'm like, "Fuck this! This is just free work at this point. Like I'm just like I have to sit here and shoot and get all this B-roll and make the video look all pretty, and then I have to send this shit back to you, and like I get nothing out of this except a couple comments saying, "Oh, it's too expensive."
Yeah, at least let me keep
Yeah,
the
so
thing.
then I made a thing. So then that's when I lost Pioneer, I lost Denon. When I
Because they want you to send it back.
Yeah, exactly. And I kept a lot of that shit. Like I still have it. Like sometimes they'll be like, "Yo, where is it?" I'm like, I don't know. Like I have the Prime Go, which I'm guessing is the equivalent. I was supposed to send that back. I never. Well, actually, edit that out.
We don't know where it is. It got taken out of your trailer. You're
Yeah.
good, bro. You're good. And that's maybe I will say this, like what's going on with me and Sweetwater. Those guys are really cool because even when they hit me up, I cut it out. I said, hey, I'll just cut that fuck scene out, and they're like, yeah, that'd be great. And so I cut that out and re-upload it, and they were cool. And so I still have a good relationship with them.
Yeah.
But right now they're like, they have like some guidelines to follow, but.
Yeah.
So I just made a review video on the LD Maui 44s. I know you have those too.
Yeah.
But it was a little bit in my head like, all right, I got to make sure that I'm talking about them, but then you almost have to be like forcefully critical so you don't come off as just like a fanboy in the review.
That's another thing I struggled with was, sometimes a product is just good and sometimes it might be good, but it might not be something that you necessarily need. Like, so
Yeah.
I ran this into a lot where I would get like a lot of products that were great. I just didn't need them. Like they didn't fit into the way I personally work. They were made for other people. you know, that's not to say anything bad about the product. It's just I wasn't the consumer that
Right.
product was made for, you know.
It fits in with maybe another DJ, but you're like, I already got the
Yeah,
thing that does the job that this is supposed to do. You know,
yeah,
like I don't think I'll ever replace the Everse 8 for
yeah,
me for like a battery powered speaker, even though like
yeah.
that Wave 8 came out. I don't know if you saw that. Have you seen that at all?
I have no idea what that even is, bro.
Oh man, so
Bro, I'm so
we gotta
out of it.
plug you
I'm so
back in,
out of
bro.
it.
We
Yeah,
gotta
bro. It's
plug
been
you
a
back in.
bro. I was doing the math. It's been a year since I've uploaded. It's been a while.
They're look at. I don't know if you're seeing the comments and all. They're loving you. Here, even Jay Book's in the house. What's up, Mr. Book? Book, I'm gonna get you on too. We'll get you on here as well. But so you're just like you step like on you when you're on YouTube now. Do you just watch other things? You're just like I'm not even. Are
Yeah,
you
believe it
passing
or
the baton? Are you coming back? What's going on? Are
no,
you what?
that's the thing. I was gonna make like an I quit video, but I'm like, that would be a lie because it would just like if I get the urge to, and I have a lot of videos. Like I've done a lot of cool shit that I want to share, and I have these videos. Like I'm still gig logging, believe it or not. I'm still filming, but I'm just not editing or posting them. A little bit has become like a diary. I love that I'm able to look back of like where we started and where we are.
Yeah.
So I'll just like I'm never gonna stop recording. And it's just second nature. Like I'm still at gigs doing like, hey guys. Like I have a backlog of like hundreds of like gig logs and stuff.
And you edit it yourself, right? Have you ever
Yeah,
thought
I'm just
about?
not editing it. I like I'm literally sitting with my heart like I'm doing this weekend. I'm uploading like the stuff from the weddings I did this weekend, you know, into the hard drive, and then
You guys heard that here first. He's uploading at least the raw
yeah,
footage onto
yeah,
the computer, so it's making its way there.
yeah. So I have no shortage of videos. I have a ton of cool stuff that I want to share with everybody that like super different. But I don't know. I just
Well, let me ask you this: like, it gets tiresome. I felt like and I feel like you were kind of like one of the inventors of the gig log. Like you introduced me to. It wasn't like on purpose, but YouTube DJs. I didn't even know that was a thing. I had started DJing.
yeah,
I was on YouTube, and then one of your videos popped up, and it said gig log, and I was like,
to
"What
be
the hell
fair,
is that?"
I don't want to say I was the first gig logger, but I was the one to kind of polish a gig log because I remember when I first started DJing, I would watch gig logs like Brian S. Red and that guy from, you know, I think he's from England, Elliskins. I can't pronounce his name, but they would do gig logs, but they were just not polished. They were just like, hey guys, we're going to a gig, and then they would cut directly to the gig. Me, I would do it like a vlog style. When I started YouTube in 2016, 2015, vlogs were all the rage. So it was like everybody talking to a camera. So I'd be like, hey guys, I'm waking up. I'm going to go, you know, get some food. So it was just like a day in the life kind of video. So that's where I kind of came in and like, I took what was essentially a daily vlog and made it into a gig log. So it just, you know, they kind of, it was different.
Well,
Because,
it was a good thing because you added production value to it, cameras, interesting shots. You know, before
yeah,
they're just like someone with the phone with the camera up their nose, mouth breathing into the
yeah,
camera. I'm at this ceremony. So
yeah,
as everybody like to see the upside my nose, you know, and you
yeah.
gave us like interesting shots and added some music and time lapses, right?
Yeah, exactly. So that's kind of like I just polished it a little bit, but
Yeah.
I wasn't the one who invented gig logs. They were they were way before me.
Is there anything? Are you feeling like because now I think a lot of people are jumping on them and doing them? Is there anything like? I've been sitting down and I haven't done one in a while
A gig
because I
log?
can't. Huh?
A gig log?
Yeah. And a lot of it is I've shot them at the wedding, and then as I sit down to edit it, I'm like, I can't find anything unique or interesting to do with this that isn't what I've already done, and I've got a little bored with them.
Yeah, and that's kind of where I kind of the same situation I kind of ran into. You know, I was just like, it doesn't feel different. So you get bored and you psych yourself out. But for me personally, like the numbers were always there. Like
Yeah, people watch them.
yeah, like the numbers were always there. So it was never a thing of like loss of ratings, so the show gets canceled.
Yeah, yeah.
It was just a matter of like, I guess, writer's block, I guess. You just like you want to do something different, but I feel like they don't want nothing different. They just wanna. People like living vicariously through you. So that's something that I still get now. Is just like, man, I love seeing like where you came and like how
Yeah.
everything started. Like I love that all that's documented. Like I have 4 years
Yeah.
of like the company being built because I was already a DJ well before I started gig logging, but as far as like the company's concerned, like I feel like I have that like seeing from where we started to where we are now. It's just like
Do
it's
you ever
so
go back
cool
and
that I
watch
have
them? Do you
documents.
go back and watch your old stuff? Just not like as an arrogant sort of like, well, I just
Yeah,
want to see myself, but like sort of where
it's
I was.
really hard for me to get through a video because I cringe at myself. I'm like, oh,
Hey
it's really
guys.
hard.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's really hard for me to watch my own stuff.
But you're right, you have this almost permanent capturing of your
Yeah.
history that you can go back to. But it's fun to see. It's not bad to go back and look and see. All right,
No,
well,
no.
I was
I
not
every
great at this,
every
but I'm
now and
better
then
now.
I'll get the urge to go watch one, and like I still like every now and then I'll look up gig logs and see what other people are doing.
Have you seen anything fresh lately that you're like, oh, that was an interesting one, or that was a cool idea?
Not in recent memory,
Yeah.
but I definitely every now and then I definitely do just search up the word gig logs and then see what pops up.
What's happening?
Yeah,
Yeah. What do you? So you guys can put this in the comments. You're hearing us talk about this. Like, what are the aspects of the gig log you like? I remember I did a poll once, and I think you're right. Like the formula, I think works. And
yeah,
then I know there was maybe a year or two ago, I made the decision like I'm not making a video any longer than 12 minutes because that's how long
really,
Mr. Beast videos are, and like he's kind of set the standard for it, you know, and
yeah,
so I intentionally there was a moment I remember it was maybe a year or two ago where I was like every video is under 12, every video I will never go
yeah.
over 12 minutes just because I thought like that was
But
the bar for attention span, you know, for
it's
long form.
it's like cycles though. I have to be honest. It's like cycles. I've been on YouTube long enough, almost 10 years, to kind of see the cycles. When I got on YouTube, they were like, "Don't make your videos longer than 7 minutes." Boom. It was just like everybody was just like under 7 minutes. Then they came out with like multiple ads, and then they were like, "Oh, you can't do multiple ads unless your videos are a minimum of 15 minutes." And now it's dropped down to 10 because we're
Yeah,
back. So then we saw a rate, and this is when like I started kind of like coming up was when like longer format videos where YouTube was recommending longer format videos because it meant more money for them, more money for us. So we were making these 20-minute long gig logs. And then it went back down when like guys like Logan Paul and stuff, they started like they came from Vine when Vine shut down. They came in and they were like just like ooh, like jump cuts, and that's when things got a lot faster pace.
yeah,
Um, and then it went through like documentary style, so everything went like super cinematic and really clear. But that was like so short lived, and then it went to like TikTok. Now it's just like give it to me in like 15 seconds, like really
or
quick.
less. Like if it don't hook me right away,
Yeah,
swipe right.
so it was just like it went to like really polished, and everybody was like, oh, like the YouTubers became like the TV makers. Like the YouTube got so good, the people making videos were just like, holy crap, this is like TV level good. Like the cinematography, like the YouTubers just became really good, and then mainstream companies started getting in. So just like the bar on YouTube was set so high.
Yeah.
I feel like everybody was just like, that's undoable. So everybody went to like TikTok. TikTok just kind of reset everything. Like it just reset the playing field.
That's basically all I mostly watch. I don't watch a lot of like produced content on like Netflix or Hulu, or whatever. Like
Yeah.
I really like what people do here. It's
Yeah.
funny. I started watching some old like so do you remember public access TV shows that
Yeah.
used to be on during the day?
Yeah.
And then they would go, let's go to the phones. And then people would call and prank them all the
Yeah.
time. There's like some compilations on YouTube that are
Yeah.
super fun. And it's like, oh, that was the original YouTube. Was the TV access
Yeah.
show where like two jabronis are sitting in a room like, all right, we're gonna talk about
Yeah.
the Yankees. Let's go to the phones. And they
Yeah.
go, hey, how you doing? Like, hey, it's Mike. Fuck
Yeah.
you. Like, all right, next guy. You know. And
Yeah.
that's kind of like how YouTube is now.
And that's the thing, bro. Like if you want to start YouTube now, it's like good luck, because it's like the bar has been set so high. Like when people go to YouTube, they don't expect like that home field content anymore. Like like the quality of YouTube videos is just really high. Like the content creators nowadays are just like they're putting out some really like just high quality content. and it's still homemade, but it's just like the production value has just gone up. So
Yeah.
it
You always
goes,
have to, like, how you could, because you're competing with the next guy that's got
yeah.
drone shots
Yeah,
and
even
shooting
like
in
these live
4K.
streams, man. Like you see, like like even like with Nick and like what you guys are doing. Like you got like you got like some like 24/7 news type of thing going down in the bottom. Like if you were like just starting off, like, all right, now how do I get that bar that says use Q to submit question? Like
Right. Or
it's
even the
just like,
split screen, like being able to do that split screen
yeah,
there.
exactly. Like the bar has just been set so high that it's just like if you're looking to start it, it's gonna be difficult.
And it costs money. Like, so just so you guys know, it cost me $30 to do these streams. All right. So I saw everybody giving Nick a lot of super chats yesterday. I think he made like $500 on his stream last night. So just those are out there. That's a possibility. Also hit the like button. The like button helps content creators, right? And comment, all that good stuff. So one of the things I want to ask you too, I recently got well, here, let's take a question here from you guys. We'll go to the chat real quick. Question for Barr: did you guys already talk about the money from YouTube, like potential to be a considerable amount of money? What do you have to say about, what would you say about what you make on, I mean, you don't have to get the exact numbers, and I mean, I can tell you guys, like, it's views. It's almost like a, what is it, like 4 or 5? It can be like $6 to $7 every 1,000 views, I think, is what it boils down to.
Yeah, it always changes. Like for
Yeah.
example, I just got a really nice check from December because December ad rates go up.
Yes.
But it just depends, and every month essentially would be a different answer as far as what you make. At my peak on YouTube, full transparency, I was making about $2,000 a month from
Yeah.
YouTube, and then I was getting sponsorships. Man, YouTube was good to me, man. YouTube was really good. Not doing the math. I would make Amazon affiliate links. So those are like the links that you see underneath my gig logs. Like this is the stuff that I use. That was like another like $500 a month. So at my height, I was probably bringing in just like YouTube, so like affiliated stuff. Maybe about like at the height, maybe around like $3 to $4 grand a month. So it was decent money, man.
Yeah, that's nothing to sneeze at, dude. Like,
Yeah.
So the potential, that's what everybody will tell you when you're doing a channel. It's not what YouTube pays you, because it's what you do. It's what kind of community you build.
Yeah.
And then once you build that community, can you offer other things? I know some people open up like clothing. Do you still do clothing or anything?
I did everything, bro. Yeah, I sold out like crazy.
Yeah. So, right. That was another ad revenue. It's just like a business. You started a business. Like,
yeah, I did everything. Like, when I was, at like the peak of doing YouTube, I would say no to nothing. I would like, if I got an email saying, hey, you want to do this? I'm like, yeah. Everything was yes.
Because it was fun. I think you hit it on the head there. And I've said this too. Like, as soon as this becomes like a job where I'm sitting down just looking at the camera and I'm like, all right, I gotta fucking make this video.
Yeah, that's me, too. Because like a couple times I was just like, I had a hard time saying no to stuff where I just like, I did not want to do. I was just like, fuck, I don't want to do this shit.
Yeah. And then, like you said, let's say you get something and you look at it and you're like, oh, this is garbage. I gotta send it back. And it's just,
and some of them were like services too, because a lot of it was just out of courtesy to my viewers. Like everything, it was like I actually wanted to like the stuff. So but it was just, for me, it's like hard to say no. So I would always just ghost, and then they would nonstop harass me and shit. Like, no, talk about this. I'm like, no answer, no comment. Yeah.
Okay, so I recently got my first 1-star review, and it came in like a bunch. And I don't know, it was.
What do you mean in a bunch?
Like, it was 3 at one time from the same party, and it came from like the guests, and basically all that happened was they were just pissed off that I didn't play a slow song. That was
at all
when they were asking for it, because it was like at the end of the night, and the bride had come up and was like, hey, we're ready for the middle school dance, let's go. And so I was like, you got it. And I in retrospect, I think like if I would have just been like, hey, let me just play a slow dance song so your fucking aunts would leave me alone, all this bullshit would have been avoided. One of them got taken down. I responded to one of them, and then she just responded back. So I wanted to bring you in on this. Do you kind of want to?
This is a great topic, bro. Last year I had a rough year when it came to weddings. I I had a stuff that I'd never experienced before, and yeah, so one
Let's
of them.
talk. Let's talk about it. Yeah.
Two of them were review related.
Okay.
So I had a couple of rough gigs last year.
Well, okay. So let me walk you through this one, and then we'll pick up yours, because I think a lot of people would ever hear know what I'm talking about. So basically, I had the father of the bride flame me, and then 2 guests again that were just upset about it. So I responded. The reason why I responded to the 1-star was I went to a venue party. They were celebrating the Chinese New Year, and I got invited. It was like a venue I always play. And I was talking to some wedding planners and other wedding vendors, and I was just as conversation. I was just telling them, like, I got my first 1-star review. And they're like, did you respond to it? And I said, no, I think I'm just going to let it sit there and stew in its bullshittery. Because I think if you read it, they sound kind of nuts.
Yeah.
And they're like, no, you got to respond to it because people want to know what your answer is. And they go, just use Chat GPT to come up with your response for it. Just type in, how do I respond to a negative review? Well, I didn't take that advice, but I did respond to it. And I'll read you what my response was. So here was my response to the review that was basically like, she was saying that I told her that you're not paying me, I'm not paying the song, and that wasn't true. And then I didn't play a slow dance, and that's what she was pissed off at me. So I wrote, so this is the case of a DJ taking bullets for the couple. This guest, as you can see, was upset that I was playing the music the couple wanted after we had some great sets with plenty of classic songs. I never told her that she wasn't paying for me. That's silly. Some guests are willing to upset the couple and disrupt the night to get their way. It happens. They usually don't go on Google the next day to flame the DJ. I stayed patient and kind to her and Tony. That was the other bad review, even though he swore at me, which he did. He came up to me and he said, this music sucks. Fuck you. Like
real quick.
Yeah.
This is your response.
This is my response.
You put this.
Yeah, I posted this.
All right. So no offense, it does sound a little passive aggressive, but continue.
Yeah. Okay. I stayed patient and kind to her, even though Tony swore at me. All in all, it was a great night. # not sorry.
That was a little rough. I probably would not have responded in the same way. You definitely got a lot of balls.
I'll tell you why. I had talked to the bride and the groom, and they were mortified that this whole situation was happening because they had the best night. She even wrote me a 5-star.
Yeah.
And I was never going to fucking apologize for what happened. Maybe it's the stubbornness in me. I was like, I'm not saying I'm sorry. I didn't want to go on there and grovel and be like, I'm sorry you didn't have a good time. I wish I would have played that Elvis song for you. Maybe that would have been the right approach.
Yeah.
But for me, I just was like, I'm not apologizing. And that was, so I was like, I'm going to more speak to the people, and I could be wrong. And I think you think I am. That's fine. I'm going to speak to the people reading the review and not responding to this kind of psycho. Yeah. So tell me what you think.
Yeah. I think you came on a little aggressive, bro.
Okay.
To be frank, you came on a little aggressive. And I get your point, bro. I completely get where you're coming from, but I probably wouldn't have put that out there just because if somebody else reads that, they're like, oh, I don't know how. It was a little. You came on aggressive.
Yeah.
Rightly so, though.
Yeah, go ahead.
Every time I read bad star reviews, I'm always on the DJ side. It's because it's just people don't understand what we do.
Right.
They just don't.
And maybe it could have been gracious, graciously be like, sorry, Kathy, that, the night.
Yeah.
But you know what? Everybody does that. And there was something about, this is my business, so any of the fallback falls on me. All my reviews are the 99 are all stellar. And I just felt like anybody reading that, and this is just my take, would read that as an entitled guest. And I just wanted to say, yeah, that's an entitled guest, and
But they kept going. Like they responded to that after you left.
Yeah. Yeah. You ready? You want? So I'll read a little bit of it. I mean, it's ridiculous. I didn't know about this. My wife, she goes, "Did you read that?" She wrote back to your response. I was like, "Oh Christ!" And I don't even know if I want to read all of it, but I mean, it's literally like this. Do you see that?
Oh my God!
This is the response.
That's a ChatGPT response, bro.
No, it's a boomer response, bro. Like, you should hear the shit. And there was a threat. While many of those that left the reception are willing to write a similar review to this situation, in parentheses, and I could have them do that, Aaron, if you would like. We are speaking on behalf of all of those guests left because you said you're not paying for this and you wouldn't play one song. And then I could tell her, I rattled her because she goes, the DJ could have easily let them know during the wedding to the couple. Oh, she's the couple was made upset after the wedding because the DJ chose to get them involved in our Google review. We had no intention of getting them involved in this. So basically, that was I got a text message from the dad that was saying, you upset. Why did you tell the bride and groom that we wrote those 1-star reviews? This had nothing to do with them. I was like, well, I want to make sure that they didn't feel the same way. And they were mad at you. And
Yeah, it's a rough situation, and that's rough, bro. Because you got hammered, 3 times, like you said. So
it was like boom, boom, boom.
That is like my worst nightmare, bro. But at least it wasn't like you upset the bride, because these are guests.
That's the thing. I can live with a pissed off, and I've had that happen before, where I've had people give me the finger at the end of the night because I didn't play their request.
Yeah.
And I've had people swear at me. I've had people come up and touch my laptop and push me. I've had that, but never gone on Google the next day. See,
question for you: Did you how did they know that it was you were the DJ? Like, how did they find you? Like, do you introduce yourself? Like,
so during the night, and this person was super drunk when she came up. She asked me for my business card.
Yeah.
While I'm DJing, she goes, "Hey, can I?" It was real snarky, kind of. I want your business card, and I was like, "Yeah, I know why you want my business card. You know what? I'll give it to you, but I don't have one on my person at the moment. I'll get it to you at the end, and I just come up and grab it. I want it now." And then she started inching closer to me, so she leaves, comes back, gets her phone, and takes a picture of me.
Yeah.
In front of my laptop, which has my name on it. And I mean, this is some Columbo shit. She went on the internet and looked me up and found me and got on Google. And I'm like the only review she ever did. So she may have had to start a whole new account. And it was like, I really, really made these people mad that I didn't play an Elvis song. Like, can you imagine being...
Is this your first instance, though, where you've had issues like this? Last year I ran into a ton of issues, bro.
Tell me, what happened to you?
Oh man, which one do you want to hear?
Start with the one so this situation, I won't lie, like the night after it was a Saturday wedding. The Sunday morning this all happened. And then that Sunday night, like, dude, I was like a kind of a mess,
Bro, yes. So going off that, perfect segue. So these things really rattle me, bro. Like, I was like really, so this was actually last March. So literally going on a year that this happened. I was doing a wedding and it was a solid wedding. And what happens is, sometimes when people book me, they want like a high energy, like clubby type experience. Sometimes they want that, sometimes they don't want that. This was a couple that they wanted like a nightclubby type wedding. They didn't have a nightclubby type crowd. Now, this doesn't go, like, I had a solid dance floor all night. So, first dance set, whatever. I get people dancing to like wedding classics. Everything's running smooth. I start to lose them a little bit. I'm like, it's not a bad crowd, but it's not going to be like an easy crowd where I can just play whatever and, they're going to go crazy for it.
Right.
So, I reset the dance floor with a slow song, just to kind of get people back out there. So, whatever, I reset the dance floor. She was like, let's not do any of these slow songs anymore. And I'm like, okay, we're not doing any more slow songs. And, Mike, just preface this too. When we got there, like the guy I was working with, my assistant that night, he goes, the bride seems kind of like a bitch. She was very rude. I was like, really? I didn't pick that up. But I'm just like such a nice, like down to earth dude. Like, I'm just always chill. Like, I have like just good vibes. Like, but like, I don't pick up on that. And he was like, yeah, and it was like, this bride was kind of like a bitch. And like, everybody was like on edge. And I was like, the night's going on. I'm like, damn, like everybody's like on edge. Like all the vendors are like on edge. And I didn't pick it up.
Yeah.
And as I start dating, I'm like, oh my God. Like I didn't see all the red flags. So whatever. The first DJ set, she's like, let's not do any of these slow dances. Let's try to keep everything from 2000 and up. I'm like, okay, like that's just like, that's intense. And she didn't even give me a must playlist or anything like that. She was just like, we just want dancing. Like my crowd is all about it. Like, so I didn't like, she was like super chill, like during like our previous conversation.
Yeah.
Whatever. Second time of the night, whatever, I open up the dance floor and I say, hey, everybody, dance floor is open. Bride and groom want to see everybody out here on the dance floor. Bro, she lost it on me. She comes to the DJ booth freaking the fuck out at me, bro. she's like, "What the fuck are you doing? Why are you saying that? I never told you to say such a thing." And I'm like, "What are you referring to?" Like, I'm just like shocked because I've never had anything like this happen
You
to
say
me.
that a lot, right? That's kind of the thing. One of the things you say.
She's like, "We never once told you that we wanted to see everybody on the dance floor." I'm like, "Really? Like, this is what you're upset about?" She's like, "I'm so upset right now." And bro, like, she storms off and goes like to cry, I guess, into like the bridal suite. And I'm like, "What the fuck is going on, bro?"
You didn't ask everyone to come out and take their pants off. Do you know what I mean?
She got offended because I said that bride and groom want to see everybody on the dance floor, bro. And I was just like, "What the fuck? This bitch is crazy." Like, I was just like, after that, I was just like not talking on the microphone, and I'm just like, I'm trying to keep it super upbeat, and like the crowd is loving it. End of the night, I get like one more song chance. Everything's like, I'm just like flabbergasted because I'm like, this is our like, I'm doing a really great job. Like, I don't.
Why is she so mad?
Yeah, like she's like really upset at me. And it just like shook me, bro. After that, like I did a couple of weddings where I was just like, I was fucking petrified to say like bride and groom want or like I was just petrified to say like bride and groom want everybody to have fun or something like that.
I know,
bro. It just like shook me. So it took me like a while to get my groove back, bro. That like one gig just like rattled me. I was just like, what the fuck? This part was just straight up crazy. And then for the next couple of days, I was waiting for like a bad review, but I'm just like,
it didn't come.
like
She was cool.
No. No, I don't know. I blocked her on all social media like right away. It's just like I got blocked. And like with me, like I never introduced myself until the end of the night. So like I'm like
it's almost like you have to look at it like it's hard to look at your past and go, this has worked so much, and then you have that one that it doesn't.
But bro,
and then you go, I guess I'll never do that again. You know?
Yeah, and I just like that's always something I say, and like I'm back to saying it. It was just like I'm just like that was just a one-off crazy bitch.
Yeah.
Like it was just she was just out of her fucking mind. She got upset because I said bride and groom want to see everybody on the dance floor. She was like, I never said that. I was
but
like,
isn't that what I mean? Don't you want that? I mean, it's not like I was insinuating anything other than, hey, let's come on. Like it was almost like you weren't forcing anybody. It's just a tactic to get people on. But
and people asking, they're like, "What race is the bride?" She was a white girl. She was a teacher. Teachers always sometimes are a little bit iffy because if we call them binder brides. So if you have like brides that are like super like detail taking, no, these are like, oh, you got to be careful with those. A
binder bride, yeah, that's everything. Somebody wrote me one of their horror stories, and it was like the bride during dinner and cocktail not only picked the music they wanted, but like what time those songs should be played at, like 6:47, this song. Well, 6:52, this song.
Bro, the problem was like she didn't give me like any song requests. Like she didn't give me any. She was just like, yeah, you know, she was like, you're not gonna have to work very hard. Like me and my guys, we get down. You know, it's gonna be an easy night for you. And like, so I just had like overall good. But again, I'm super bad at reading people because I'm just a nice guy in general.
Yeah, you see the best in them.
Yeah, so I didn't pick it up, and like as soon as we got there, like the guy helping me, my roadie, he goes, "Oh, this bride's crazy." Like,
and you're like, "What?"
I didn't know. I'm like, "What are you talking about?" She was like, "Did you hear how she called me?" And I was like, "Oh, you're like." I guess the way he picked up on it by the way he said by the way she said his name.
Wow.
Yeah, and I don't pick up on this stuff, bro, and I'm like the worst.
I'm a lot like that too. I can't. It's not till afterwards if someone to tell me like, did you realize how they talk to you all night? Like, I guess you kind of see the positive, but in that situation, it's tough to carry that. I would say because you didn't. I mean, it's not justified that reaction, and who knows if alcohol was causing her to stress, or a lot of times like family members, put a lot of stress on the bride and groom the day off. I feel bad because they don't really enjoy that day, and you kicked ass. You had a great dance, and
bro, and that's the thing. And like, I wish YouTube would let you. I mean, like, Google Reviews would let you post videos because I would be like, bro, like, look at how your night ended. Like a packed dance for everybody yelling one more song.
And I specifically took video when this shit was happening to me because I felt like just in case. If I had an empty dance floor and I'm refusing and I'm not playing a slow dance, I can understand you being upset with me. But when the bride and groom come up to me and are kind of like, fuck the request, just keep going. Like I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go that route, and it's kind of sucks that the guest is the one that can. So you almost wonder like, is it fair for them to be able to write a review? They didn't hire me, but they were there.
I think it's all fair game because even like wedding, like I've read over Wedding Wire and Google's things, and like anybody who's even interacted with you can write a review. Like even if
Mm.
somebody like just like, hey, I'm looking for a DJ, and you take too long to respond, they can write a review like this guy took forever to respond.
That's
Like,
happened.
yeah.
Some of my wedding planner friends were like, we got our review, and it was just because it took like 3 days because
Yeah.
we were out of the country. And
Yeah.
even when we told them that, they didn't take it down. Like there's just keyboard
Yeah.
warriors out there that just want to
Yeah.
end you.
Yeah, and then the second one, this one was rough. So this was middle of the summer, right? I had 3
Okay.
instances last year that were just like super fucked up. The second one, bro, this one was I was so pissed. First of all,
Okay.
it wasn't my gig. This was my last because you know every now and then I did gigs for Posh, and I hadn't been doing gigs for them in a while. But this one, the bride specifically requested me. I'm
Okay.
like, okay. I'm like, oh, usually when they request me, they kind of know my vibe. They've seen my videos or things of that nature or whatever. So whatever, they booked me through Posh. They specifically wanted me. So I get there. It was a Spanish American wedding. This is like I can do this like all night. Like that's easy for me. I get there, bro, and just like the American side is not budging, bro. Not budging at all. And then I'm just like, oh, like I'm just trying to find common ground because I'm like, the biggest complaint that I get when I do these is like you usually like default to whichever crowd gives you more energy, you know.
Right.
And this happened on both sides. Sometimes the Americans give me more, sometimes the Spanish will give me more. It's just like I don't know. I just like whatever side gives me more energy, that's the side I'm gonna cater to. So this one, the American crowd just was not moving. And she was like, I was just like, what do I do? At her final meeting, she mentioned that her crowd liked disco. I'm like, all right, that's easy because Spanish people, they know disco.
Okay.
So like you play some Bee Gees, some Funky Town, things of that nature. This is all stuff that Spanish people are gonna recognize, they're gonna dance to. So I'm like looking for songs that are common ground, like Suavemente is like common ground. I'm assuming like, Americans are gonna know it and the Spanish people are gonna know it. So I'm looking for common ground songs. And I start to finally get some movement on the dance floor and I finally dial it in. Okay, I need like common ground songs. One of these common ground songs is YMCA.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, the Spanish people know it, the American people know it. She writes a bad review a couple of weeks later. Like I thought nothing of it because I was like, it was an average wedding. It wasn't rager. It wasn't like a bad wedding. It was a good wedding.
Yeah.
It was an average wedding for me. So a couple of weeks go past, and then I get a message from Pa saying, hey, we got a 3-star review from a bride saying that you played YMCA and she told you no line dances. I'm like, YMCA is a line dance? So like I just start fucking second guessing everything after that. I'm just like, what the fuck? Like I'm questioning life now. Like now, so if YMCA
did you go to your set list and look?
I'm just like, wow, if YMCA is a line dance, then fucking Soldier Boy tell him like that's probably a line dance too. Like I guess
Right.
Watch Me Whip is like a line dance too. So like now I'm just like second guessing everything, and I'm just like, what the fuck? Like this bitch is out her fucking mind. At that point, I was just like,
dance.
yeah, I just
So
I
this
don't
is a line dance?
I don't know what you classify YMCA under. And she was like, oh yeah, we specifically requested no line dances, and I don't know why he played that. And then she also wrote in again, it was a 3-star review, so it wasn't bad. But she also wrote that we wanted a big group picture, and he never arranged that. I'm like, what? Bro, that's the second time a photographer has got me in trouble. The other time was a photographer, we had a balloon drop, and the photographer didn't catch it. And mind you, we didn't have control of the balloons either. Like, it was the venue manager. And they were like, the venue was like, when do you want to do it? I was like, after dinner. That's the best dance set. Like, don't do it too late. Just do it after dinner. So they did it at some point after dinner. Like, we didn't have control of it. The photographer missed the shot. They were like, they missed the shot because of the DJ. I'm like, bro, what? And she wrote, yeah, like, we missed the big group shot because of the DJ. I'm like, how is that my fault? Like, you never told me you want to do a big group shot. Like,
well, we're gonna blame the DJ because he's the one on the microphone. It's
Yeah,
like, well, what about the planner and the photographer? Why she's aware of this balloon drop? You think that would be on her radar? Like, hey, I want to know when the balloon drop is happening. Make sure that I'm in the room and you handle this. Like, don't you know what I mean? And that's a lot of that stuff falls on you. But the YMCA thing is crazy for her to get that upset about that song. And you're right. And then you go home and you're like, what? I don't understand. What did I do? I'm trying. So when I did a American Spanish party too, and it was the opposite for me. Like, I had a hard time. I had the Americans. It was hard for me to get. And then when I switched over, I actually bought all your crates too to help me out. I bought everything you had. I was like, I'm buying all bar stuff. And I was just throwing darts. I had them give me some ideas. I did a lot of research. Like, I need to know the genres. Like, what are the top salsas to play? You know, like all that stuff. I want to make sure I was dialed in. And Pitbull was like a good middle ground for me. I don't. Is that too basic for you, or do you felt like?
No, I love Pitbull. And then that's the thing. Like sometimes these brides will get in their head that they want to have like a quote unquote cool wedding.
Yeah.
And I'm like, bitch, shut the fuck up. Like I do this shit on the weekend. Like I know what's cool and what's not. Like I'm actively still doing clubs. So like you have this idea of what's cool in your head, and like I've gone to some dope ass clubs where they're playing like Don't Stop Believing. Like I've been to fucking what's the Omnia, and they're fucking playing Don't Stop Believing, Living on a Prayer, like which were quote unquote like cringe worthy songs. I'm like, it's not really the song, it's how you play it, like that makes it cringe. So I'm just like,
or when when, like you gotta wait to the right time for all, and that's what makes you the expert. Like trust me, I want this to be good.
And it's like the way I mix too is very like fast paced. So I probably play like YMC next song. Like it was just like like I'm like mixing so fast, and like it's just like I was just like, what the fuck? Like it's just that shit pissed me off.
Did Posh have to like? Did they do any like refund or anything? Did they?
I have no idea how they handled it on their end. I was just like, I was in a tough spot. Like I wanted them to have a good crowd on the dance floor because I was gonna get a bad review for either nobody danced or the DJ played YMCA, because that was the issue. Like it was just like her side wasn't budging. Like, and if I catered just to one side of the crowd, it was just not gonna work. And also, this was at one of my least favorite venues in Jersey. It's like this place called the Hamilton Manor. I fucking despise this place. It essentially it gives me like school cafeteria vibes. This place, it's like it looks nice, I guess, but it looks like a basketball court. If you've ever seen like those old school elementary schools where like the cafeteria is also like the stage for like the plays and stuff like that, it gives me that vibe. Like it looks like a shiny ass basketball court because it's like a long ass ballroom with like a nice chandelier that makes it look pretty. But to me, it just looks I don't know, like an elementary school, like cafeteria, like gym,
like windows high up and smells like ketchup and tater tots.
It's just like it's a nice looking. Like if you look at the picture, you're like, oh yeah, this place is really like nice and beautiful. But then like it gives me like the vibe of like those like elementary schools that like the cafeteria doubles as the basketball court and the play like the auditorium. It's like all in one room.
Yeah,
it just gives me that vibe. So you're like DJing up high on a stage. The crowd is like super far away from you. It's just it's hard to gauge the energy. I hate DJing there because it's such a big place that like she thinks she had like 120 guests. It doesn't even tickle that room, bro. It looks like empty with 100 guests.
And that sets a vibe too, where you feel like I want to create this moment, but in a huge room, and that big dance floor. Then we gotta give a little shout out here. We just got our first super chat come in, so we're gonna thank my boy DJ PC424. So, okay, we'll answer his question real quick. Aaron, I recently shared with you how one good video took me from 75 subscribers to 8,000 in 2 months. I could use some advice from you or Barr what to do with this new audience. Yeah, so he posted just a mix on his YouTube channel. And what style was it again, bro? You got to remind me. I forget what it was, but it popped. And then can you imagine? I mean, he went from 7, so he's blown back. That fuck you, first of all. 8,000. That's crazy. That is a crazy growth. I say my advice to you would be like, do that, because the audience found you for what you did. So then if you turn your channel into a cooking channel, your views are going to like plummet. So
I would do part 2. I would keep at it. And then I would also waste no time because people forget like this. Doug, as soon as you watch, the best thing you could do is like, right away, as soon as possible, get with it with like same thing that you just did, part 2 or a variation there of it. That's like, they call that riding a wave. Like sometimes in social media, it's like a blessing and a curse going viral, because there's like one video might pop off and then like your numbers get super skewed. So in order to avoid that is you want to keep giving them whatever video popped it off, give them more of that relatively fast so that they become a fan, not just somebody who liked what you did.
And came over that. And that's true, because usually when you're making a video, if it does go viral, it's usually kind of an accident almost. Like I was just making normal content, and for some reason that I didn't formulate, it just connected with a large audience and went off. And then you could sit down and be like, all right, I need to write my next viral video, and then it just, because that's your intention to like make a viral video, it won't happen. You know,
Yeah.
it's too hard to do that. So my thoughts are, if you got that audience based on that style of video you did, then they liked what you did. I would just keep grinding out that kind of content and see if it's still getting the traction. If not, I don't know. I don't know what to do.
Yeah.
That's big
Agreed.
growth. That's super fast.
Yeah.
All right, so
Congrats,
that was
man, congrats. That's a big jump.
oh yeah, for real, bro. Like honestly, congratulations. That's amazing. Like, and then you feel like, oh, I just grabbed a whole bunch of people that like my content. Now you got an audience, and you're good to go. All right. So what other was there another? You said
yeah, the
year.
last one was, it happened in December, and this was in Florida. This was a guy who was trying to fight me. It was an old ass dude, bro.
Let's go fight.
Bro. I get there, and I tell my assistant, I'm like, that table in front of the DJ booth, that's gonna be a problem. I can already tell they're gonna hate me. It better not be some old ass people sitting there. Sure enough, doors open. The oldest motherfuckers in the room get sat right there. Bro, not even 2 minutes into it, they're like, turn this shit down. It's way too fucking loud. And at this point, I kind of took it like almost racially. I hate to go there, but I kind of did. I was like, whoa, like this dude came mad aggressive at me.
Yeah. And
then he's just like giving me dirty looks. And then I'm doing the grand introduction, and he's like staring me down. And I like stare him down. And then I stare him back down. I was like, what? What's the problem? He's like, shut the fuck up. I'll fuck you up. That's what. And this is an old ass dude. I'm like, bro, shut the fuck up. I'll kick your walker. Like, you know, like this is an old ass dude telling me.
I'll take those tennis balls off that walker and shove them up your ass.
And I'm just like, well, this dude has like a serious problem. And then as the night is going along, the wedding is raging. Another fucking old guy from the same table, they're like, why are you playing songs about suicide? He's talking about Mr. Brightside. And I'm like,
oh Christ.
I'm like, what the, I don't even know what this song is about. Like, I don't fucking listen to the lyrics.
I thought it was about touching a dick or something.
Apparently it's a song about suicide, and he's like all pissed off because I'm playing songs about suicide. And I'm just like, oh my God, this night won't fucking end.
What do you think about like the people? I know some DJs will say like, you don't play any like breakup song themes.
Fuck that, bro. I don't follow that. I don't subscribe to any of that. People are if you overanalyze every situation, you're gonna be on your toes every event, and it's just you're not gonna be having a good time.
Yeah, exactly. I don't listen to the lyrics. I don't think it matters if it's the vibe, it's the bop. I don't want it because I feel like that shit in your head hinders your ability to read the room and pick the right song. If all of a sudden you're going through and like, oh, I wonder what are they, what's he talking about in this song? I want to make sure I don't offend anybody in the room. Like, oh, I don't give a fuck. I don't give a shit. Just play the banger. Play the banger.
Yeah, I absolutely. I don't listen to the fucking lyrics. Like, this is not the time. I'm just like, is it a fucking party record or is it not? That's it.
What do you think of the new Beyonce song?
It's okay. But people are like super.
I agree. There's nothing more to say. I totally agree.
Just like, it's not a bad song. The Texas Hold'em, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not a bad song by any means. But I know people are like mad at it because it's like country, and it's like, no, this is R&B, and I'm just like, I don't know. It's just,
I think it's interesting that they're doing like, what are they calling it? Like a trilogy or something, where they did house and now they're doing country, and
she's gonna do rock, and I don't know. I'm about it. I don't see what the problem is.
Yeah, with that too, it's like I like the adventurousness of it. Like, hey, let's step out and try something. I just think if you're gonna do it, I don't know why they didn't bring in a little bit more. I don't know who wrote it or who like put it together. It was pretty forgettable, I think, for me after I listened to it. So that's kind of right.
Yeah, but she's doing the thing, and I just like, she's trying to do like all the genres, I guess. Like, so.
Yeah, I think that's kind of fun. I got a question for you too. So you were saying that you see the best in people. Do you have a hard time? Can you sniff out a bridezilla during your like consultation calls? And if so, like, what would you do in that situation?
Yeah. I mean, luckily, I like kind of been blessed where I like, I remember when I first started my YouTube channel, one of the things is like, I hope one day I can get to a situation where I can pick and choose what events I want to do. And now I can sniff it out based on like the questions that they ask. I'm just like, nope. Or like they tell me like, we don't like this. And I'm just like, nope. Like
Yeah.
I'll just give them some absurd price so they don't book or something like that.
You just realize I'm not your guy for.
Yeah, but it's just like trigger questions that'll trigger me. I recently had a bride. I'm showing her a demo of bride and groom being introduced, and she goes, "Oh, I hate this song. I forget what. I think it was like some Coldplay song that they walked out to." She was like, "That's gonna be on my do not playlist." I'm like, "Bitch, I didn't choose this fucking song. Like, what the fuck are you talking about?" Like, I'm like,
Are you gonna do that at my wedding also? Like, no, this was.
yeah, this is gonna be your walking in. This is
Yeah.
gonna be your
And
first
that's it.
dance. This is exactly what your wedding's gonna be like. You stupid bitch. Like, bro, I'm less like people are out of their mind.
I remember when I first started, because I was just getting out and I didn't have a lot of reviews and a lot of like events under my belt yet. I met with a couple, and this is before COVID, so I was like meeting in person. Now I do everything through Zoom. But I met them at a brewery and we were talking and everything was going great. And then she pulled out a book. And I was like, uh-oh. And it was like how to plan your wedding or something. And she's like flipping through the page, what to ask your DJ. And I remember the groom just kind of sitting there, just like rolling his eyes, and she's ripping through those questions. And then she goes, do you think it'd be all right if I came with you to one of your weddings just to kind of, hang out?
That's definitely a red flag there too.
Exactly. And what I ended up doing was she wrote back, and I said to her, like, hey, I don't think I'm the, right guy for you. Good luck and everything. She goes, I don't understand why. I just want to come with you to a wedding and hang out. Like, yeah, I need someone else's chicken. I'm not taking you to another wedding, you crazy person.
Yeah, that's huge red flag.
Hey, let's take some questions in the chat. Did you see any bar that you saw that you kind of wanted to? I can scroll up a little bit. Did you see any that came in? But we'll take some. We'll go to the chat now, and I'll look for some questions that you guys have. But add a queue. And then, so a lot of people saying, great to see you. Where you been? We've been through this. It's all good. Is he considered being defamed? Maybe prosecute. I don't know what that means. Oh, I guess that's like the reviews. I don't see. That was the thing. If a review comes in and there's a lie in it, but you can't. Isn't it on the? I watched a lot of Judge Judy. And so
that would be really hard. It's going to cost you a lot because you got to find somebody that's going to be able to handle this case. It's just like,
is it worth it? And I think no. I think if the review comes off kind of nuts, plus you wonder like, all right, so I say it's one way, you say it's the other way. There's literally no way to prove it. But one thing I was thinking is, I think I'm gonna run my 360 camera all night during the dance. Like just run it the whole night, just in case to capture. I don't know, like if people are like abusive or yell or like moments where you say something, like what do you think about something like that?
I think you should do that. I do that. I do that with my GoPro.
Do you run it? Yeah, in the back of the room, right? Do you run it all night?
Mm-hmm. All night, nonstop.
And that gives you some stuff to
yeah, actually, I haven't done like an updated of how I film my video, which is one video that I want to do. But now I filmed like the entire night on 2 cameras.
Well, so one where do you set them up? Like one behind you and then one in the back.
One
of the
across,
room?
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
How do you get so? Like, do you have to change the batteries out? Because I know like the Canon I have, like you get like 45 minutes and the battery's fucking dead.
Yeah. So I have since it's been so long because I've used this camera for a long. I use a Sony one now. The battery lasts about it lasts about an hour and a half, but that's really all I need because I do one battery change. So I'll do one pre-dinner and then post-dinner set. Sometimes I don't get the ending, or sometimes I'll forget to reset during dinner. But for the most part, I get what I need.
Okay. Here's a good question here. Why haven't you given in to the DJ furniture setup yet?
I guess it's just a logistics thing. I don't have anything against it. It's just the logistics things. We carry a ton of shit already, and I want to do like a DJ booth. I'm not doing a T booth just because I fucking hate people coming up to me and asking me for requests. So that's something I would never do.
What you said, the TV booth?
The T booth, like that booth where like
yeah, the one I have that. Yeah, like the podium one.
Yeah, like the one where you're just solo, where you like you get closer to the. I don't like that. For me, I like I kind of like being fenced off. I don't want people coming up to me.
It'd be the best if you could have the fence on the other side, so you're just completely blocked in. You know, like the one in the front and then behind you. Does your assistant help with that though? So I'm looking at bringing an assistant with me this year. I actually got a guy, interviewed him. He's super cool. Like, do you have them deal with requests so that they don't have to bug you?
Yes. So I'll always say like, go talk to them, or just like shoot them down.
So what's their response? What's their thing? It's like, hey, oh, that's a great idea. High five them and then just be like, okay, just don't.
It's better because it makes you look like you're super important, like because you kind of have like a bodyguard there, so like they're like kind of watching your back. So I always say like you take care of them, and then also if I don't play the song, it's not kind of on me, it's kind of on them, and then like nobody knows who they are, so they're like home free. So I just like the logistics of that. I also like the perception of 2 people at the booth. This is just me like watching like, you know, like Swedish House Mafia and stuff like that. Like just the trade-off looks cool. I don't know. I like the vibe. The solo podium, I feel like people come up to you and I don't like that. For me as a DJ, when I zone out, I just like get the fuck away. I'm an angry DJ. Like when I start DJing, bro, I'm like the worst. Like don't talk to me, don't touch me. Like I'm just like,
because you're in the zone, and honestly, those requests really break up your concentration, and then they don't shut the fuck up, and you're seeing like your song run out. You're like, I got to do my job.
Yeah.
What other things do you have your assistant? So one of the things that my assistant said, he would be like, hey, I'll just go set everything up for you, and then you can just kind of show up. Have you ever had your assistant do that?
I have a couple of gigs. Yeah, absolutely. Sometimes it just logistically it has to be that way. Like I've done things where I'm flying in the day of and they'll have to go set up, or sometimes I'll do like a double where I'll do like a day wedding and then I'll have a night one as well. So I need somebody to go set up. So yeah.
This wedding tip for brides and grooms: sit older people. Yeah, you know what I've been recently doing? I've been asking for the layout of the venue with the tables.
Yeah.
And during my final, and then as we go through it, and I look at it, I go, who's sitting at table 17? Because they're like right next to me. Yeah. Don't put your grandparents there. And that's kind of been a way to save some issues there. What kind of tips could you give? Like your final, what are some things you do during your final consultation to sort of like help avoid those things? Or, you know, like you're like, if I didn't ask this question, I know I would probably have this issue.
So one of the things that I felt like I was being very constrained by request list. So one of the things I say to them, I'm like, hey, you know, just want to give you a heads up. Like, you don't want to choose every single song because if nobody's dancing, it's going to be on you. Like I say that to them and they get freaked the fuck out. I'm like, you know, if you give me too many songs, I feel obligated to play them. And if nobody's dancing, it's going to be on you. Yeah, so I say that to them. And they've been getting freaked out. So I've noticed that my requests have like slowly been getting less and less, which is good. I don't want no requests, but I don't want them to pick out like, you know, 100 songs, because that makes it a nightmare for me.
It is. You're boxed in, and now you're just a jukebox. And you're right. What happens when the songs aren't working? Yeah. And I've had that happen where I've had a big dance floor, and then I'm like, all right, bride and groom are on. Let's hit their banger.
Bro, you want that?
It flushes the crowd. And I've seen the groom kind of like, no. And he looks over at me like, ah, shit. And I'm like,
bro, you want to hear a petty story from me, bro?
Yes, I do.
So this was end of 2022. I'm doing a wedding, bro, and it's a rocking. Like we do the first dance set, it's fucking rocking. And I'm playing some of her music, but I'm kind of doing my own thing as well. And it's not to say that I wasn't playing her music. At some point, bro, the dance floor is like packed, like going nuts. This is like, I'm like, damn, this is a dope ass wedding.
Yeah.
The bride comes up to me and she says, is this on my list? And I'm like, no, but in order to get to some of your songs, like I need transition songs in between, unless you want me to go down the thing. She was like, oh, okay, I just wanted to know. Like she didn't like, she was like kind of like trying to like say like, oh, like you're not playing my music kind of thing, right?
Yeah.
So I'm like, okay. I already had her music prep. I literally go to her must plays like on my Serato, because I prep it before every wedding.
Yeah.
I click organize by BPM and I just start going one by one by one by one. Kills the fucking dance floor. Bro, and I'm just like, I'm playing all her music, all of it, bro. And my assistant's like, what the fuck are you doing? Like, you're gonna get her mad. I'm like, nope, I'm playing her music. Bro, the rest of the night I just went like literally from like 80 to like 150 or whatever the fuck her music was. I just went down the list. Fucking ruined her own wedding. And I was like, I did what you wanted me to.
That's what you wanted. Did she come back up again and like give you like the stop?
No, never heard from her again. Never. Because
All right, you want this to be your party?
She
Fine.
put herself in a corner. I was like, "You ruined." And the guests are coming up. They're like, "Can you switch it back up to what you were doing before?" And I was like, "This is what the bride wants. If you talk to her, then I can switch it. But just
Throw her ass right under the bus there for that shit."
And usually my rule is like never throw the bride and groom under the bus. But she just like the way she said that to me. Is this on my list? I was just like. I don't know why it rubbed me the wrong way, bro. And it was it was like the end of the wedding season, so I'm like, fuck this. I'm like, this is my last wedding of the year. Like,
I'm not putting up this bullshit. And you got to think, like, what's going on in their head? Do you not see what's happening? Like, I've connected with the crowd. Like, I've done what you wanted. And they're like, yeah, but this isn't my song. And I wanted to go like, all right, fine, let's ruin this party. It's no skin off my nose. And if you come back at me, you can't say anything other than I played all your songs. It was you.
Yeah.
You did this, Brittany. You did this, Brittany.
So, she made her bed and like now she has to sleep in it. So
do you have a shit show story like where things went bad or
bro, it was just this last year. Like usually like I don't really have like shit go wrong like that because I don't know, but last year I don't know what the fuck was in the water, bro, but I had some one-offs that I was just like, what the fuck is wrong with people?
Was it their expectations that they felt like they weren't getting met, but to no fault of your own because like you didn't like what's the surprise?
But like for me, I don't know how brides and grooms see it. For me, the ultimately like quality of the work that you're providing is ultimately for me determined on the dance floor. That's just me. Like, okay, like based on how good your dance floor is, I guess a judgment of like my quality of work. But
yeah,
I guess not. I guess it's let things go into it. But yeah,
when you have like the bad dance floor, so if that's the case,
you feel like shit.
Yeah.
You feel like shit. Sometimes you're trying everything and it just, it just wasn't your night. You can't win them all.
But and I felt like when you've met, I think what's great about being a solo op, the advantage we have, because I know my couple from the day we book to final call, all the in between time, the day of, they know that it's I want this to be a great party. I've seen that when like I don't have a great dance, they'll apologize like sorry nobody danced, like they know like
I've had that where it was just like, oh, sorry our crowd sucks and this and that nature. Yeah, like the best weddings are always like, in my opinion, like the most like average weddings where you kind of have to work a little bit and they're just like, oh my god, like I can't believe you got that out of my crowd. Those are always the best. Sometimes I feel like the ragers, like you kind of sniff them out and like the couple already knows too, like because they're like fucking wild. Like you can just kind of feel it. I can also tell by like your guest count. Like if you tell me you have 200 something guests, I'm like, all right, this is gonna be a breeze. Like
yeah.
But if you tell me you have like 80 and under, it's like, all right, I'm gonna be earning my paycheck today.
And they might be gone.
Yeah.
And you have to deal with that.
And it's just logistical things. Like after doing this for a while, like I can already sniff a couple of things out. Like I'm like, all right, the wedding the venue size versus the wedding size. So this a lot of things go into a wedding that are like psychology type things. Cause like if you have a massive ballroom and you have 80 guests in it, it doesn't tickle it. So even if you have everybody on the dance floor, it still looks dead.
Yeah.
It's just like there's some psychological things that go into play that just like are out of your control.
Well, and people feel that too. They're almost like, I don't want to be the only
because you feel like you're being looked at. It feels like
Or if the lights are really bright in the venue, people feel kind of like, I don't know if I want to be out there letting everybody see me looking like this. I've got a question here. It's a personal one. It's up to you if you want to answer or not. Someone want to know if you got hitched. They saw wedding.
Yeah, a while back. It was a while back.
Someone's looking at your finger. What's going on? You got any gear that you're eyeing up or excited for, or like an upgrade that you want to do?
You mentioned DJ furniture. I do want to get, like I mentioned, a TV booth. I was trying to get a Toad, but his shipping is crazy. Like I remember I hit him up last year, and I think it was like around this time, actually March. He was like, "Oh yeah, if you order now, you'll get it in September." I'm like, "September?" I'm like, "That's way too long." I'm like, I don't want to wait that long. Yeah, I'm like, I don't want to wait that long. But that's the biggest thing I'm eyeing right now. Is just that.
I think that's a good middle ground, like without having the T booth, because you
Yeah.
still have a little bit of a border, and I know
Yeah.
you can still put a lot of stuff on it.
Yeah.
Because I think that like if you got something, you don't want to lose all the you do in lighting and you do DMX and everything, right? And you
Yeah.
got with your movers, so you can't give all that space up. And it's true with the podium.
Yeah.
Maybe that would come in handy for like a smaller gig,
Yeah.
Okay,
I
so
also,
go ahead.
yeah, just like I also like list like DJ furniture. Like we carry a lot of shit, especially for me. Like I'm a solo op, so I like it when people book a lot of shit. Like I know people don't like that, but for me, it means more money in my pocket. So like I'm okay with it. I'm okay with doing sparks and all that other shit. All the bells and whistles. Like I like that because I make more money. But also that limits the space and the amount of stuff we can carry. So my DJ setup is all practicality and logistics. It's got nothing to do with how pretty it is. It's just logistics and practicality. That's it.
Yeah, it makes sense. In and out. Like venues don't want you there for 2 hours to tear
Yeah.
down.
Exactly.
Somebody wrote here that Humster booth. That one I think has a TV on it. Have you seen that one? That was what, dude. When we were at AC, that was what we were looking. I don't know if you remember. Everything was 2 years ago. That was the booth that we were kind of hanging by. It was that one that folded up and folds up this way, and then like the table sets on top of it, and then I think now you can stick like a TV. Have you seen that one?
I don't remember.
See, I remember.
I'm like out of touch with like the new gear. I haven't been paying attention to it.
So check that one out. I know that's a good. And other people are like DIY. Are you a DIY? Will you build stuff?
I'm not. Like even when it comes to like cars and stuff, like I'm just like, I like everything stock. Like, like I don't like modifying things and making them look like, I like it like pristine. Like even with my MacBook, like I don't put stickers on it or anything like that. Like I'm like super like clean. It has to be new, pristine and everything. So I'm always upgrading to the newest and latest and greatest, but it's just like, it's got to be stock. Like I don't want to, like if there's a blemish on it, it doesn't look stock. Like
return it.
If it's a repair, it has to be like from the service. Like I'm just like super OCD like that.
What's the latest thing you got?
Oh, that's a great question. The latest thing I got. Shit, bro. I can't even think. Like as far as DJ gear goes.
Yeah, like anything coming in the box, you were like waiting for it. It's just kind of like, oh damn, here it comes.
Oh, the latest thing I got was a new controller. Middle of season last year, my DDJ 1000 broke, so I had to get a new one.
What'd you get?
DDJ 1000 SRT. If it ain't broke, don't fix it.
You love that thing, man. You've had that. I know that there are guys that swear up and down on that. I know you've had that for years, right? Like almost since it came out. Like how long you had
that
thing?
DDJ 1000 I got during COVID. So before that, I was still using CDJs, and I was like super opposed to controllers. But I was just like during COVID, I bought it just to kind of do my live streams.
Yeah.
And I also didn't want to go, to the warehouse to pick up all my stuff. So I was just, I needed something from the house, and then I started bringing it to gigs, and I was like, yeah, I'll do this every now and then, and I switched to my CDJs. Never went back to the CDJs. So they're just like started collecting dust, and I sold them end of last year. I sold my CDJs. That was hard. That was hard to part with.
Yeah, that seems like not a lot of guys do that move from CDJs to controllers. Is it just because it was, or you're like, man, this is just so much easier, and I'm doing the same thing?
Well, the thing was, for the longest, I was like, I was like always like a club DJ and I guess doing weddings. That I always felt like that. And then I finally gave it. I'm like, I'm a fucking wedding DJ. Like I'm not doing clubs anymore. So I just came to terms with it. And then it was
accepted
like
the death of your coolness.
Yeah, and I was just I read an article once. They were like, it's a lot easier to part with things if you say thank you for what you did, and you'll be missed. And
a little ceremony
I started doing that, and I said to my CDJs, thank you, you'll be missed. And like I felt okay. And like even when I get a new car, I'm like, damn, I really like this car. You say thank you, you'll be missed. And then it just like it works, bro. It works.
You ship it out to your wife.
If you
thank
have
you. I had a good couple of years with thank you, but I'm moving on.
Yeah, and this is not disingenuous. Like literally, like
I know.
But if you have stuff that you're having a hard time parting with, just say to the stuff, thank you. Like really, thank you. And then you'll get rid of it. Like
I'm telling you, dude, this is good advice. I think this is really good because I think we got some hoarders in the house, some gear hoarders.
I was one of them, bro. I mean, I still have my freaking turntables that I refuse to get rid of, but like,
because of what they mean to you, right?
What's up?
Because of the history. You're like, we've
Yeah,
been through so much together.
Exactly. But, the thing is, the longer you wait, the harder it is to part with things. So that's why with the CDJs, I was like, you know what? I haven't used them in 2 years. Thank you. Goodbye.
Goodbye. All right. So what was the phrase again? Thank you for what you did. Goodbye. Right. That was it.
Yes. I'm telling you, it works. It makes
Light
it a
a
lot
candle.
easier to part with stuff.
Someone was wanting to know do you have like any go-to event speakers you're going to, or is it, depend on the event, besides the venue and all that?
I've defaulted back to my SRXs. I was gonna get the RCFs. I think, remember, we were talking about this at the DJ Expo, and I was like, we went to go buy the RCFs at the DJ Expo, and then we went to go listen to them, and we were like, this is not that like a huge difference where you're like, wow, like it's a night and day
in a demo
difference.
room, right?
Yeah. Remember we discussed this, and I was just like, I mean, it's gonna cost me $10,000 for essentially no difference at all.
And then I ended up spending the $10,000 on those 515 and 808s.
Yeah. But you needed them though, right? Or
no.
Yeah.
I don't need any of this, but
yeah. So the thing with me here in Jersey, especially, is just like RCF is like almost like a bandwagon. Like all the companies use them here, right? So I was like all about it. I'm like, I got to get RCF. Like I'm missing out. But then we go and we listen to them, and I specifically brought my guys just because they're not the ones paying for it.
Yeah.
And they're like, I mean, it sounds really good, but it doesn't sound any different than what we are already using. And I was just like, you just unsold the speakers. like,
they saved you. Why didn't nobody tell me that? I needed your guys to help me out. Because
I was like, I'm going to be biased, and I'm just like, but I'm just like, you guys don't care because you guys are like not putting the bill. So I brought my guys. I was like, listen to them. They were like, is this like night and day better than what we're using? And then they were like, they sound good, but like it's
not
just
worth writing a check.
Yeah, exactly. And like for me, like once they break them, maybe I will get them, but it didn't justify the purchase. So I'm glad I didn't, because they're still kicking, So I'm just like, we would have wasted, because it's been a year since that. So
I feel like that's some good advice too. Like, the newest thing comes out or another brand, it's kind of like want to whisk you away. But if you got a setup that sounds good and you like it, then I think that's good. There's no reason to drop the $10,000. Like that was such a waste of money. Those speakers are not for mobile DJs. I could not get them tuned right. They were harsh as hell. The subs were weak. It was such a letdown, and they were so fucking expensive. Like I couldn't believe. I had to talk my wife into, like, please, I'm telling you, these are the last speakers I'm ever gonna buy. Like I pulled that shit, and she's like, no, one, no, it's not. I know you, and two, all right, fine, whatever. I know you want them.
Yeah, I mean, it also goes to the testament of, because like I mentioned, I have like a lot of this stuff documented.
Yeah.
And I had, when I went to go buy those speakers, and holy shit, they're still kicking, bro. And I work a lot. Like I've cut back on my dates. That's something that I haven't mentioned on my YouTube channel, but I cut back a lot. So I'm not working as much as I used to, but holy shit, when we were like at our prime, we were doing like 114 events a year. So
they were handling it. Like,
bro, they're still going, bro. So they must have like at least 500, minimum 500 gigs under, like well over that.
And you push them, you know what I mean? Like,
because I bought them like in 2018, bro. And from 2019 to 2022, last year was the first year that I definitely cut back, just because I was just like, this is too much. I was doing about 100 events every year, with the exception being COVID. But I was doing about 100 to 100 and something events a year.
So that's like a triple, quadruple weekends. Like, how do you end up hitting those kind of numbers? Is during the summer you're doing 3-4 a weekend?
People always get amazed by that number. Here in Jersey, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday weddings are very common. So it's not as hard as I mean, it is hard, because I do spend a lot on promo, like in promotional stuff, but I just never noticed. Like next thing that you know, I'm doing 100 and something weddings a year. Last year I cut back. This year I cut back even more. Are you gonna
stop it though? Are you gonna like hit a number and be like, that's it, I'm not passing?
So I tell myself that, but also I just been raising my prices. It's very hard for me to say no to like work. Especially when you're self-employed, you don't know where your next paycheck is coming from. So it's like, psychologically, I'm always like, I gotta work. So it's hard for, like, if I'm available, I don't say no. But I have raised my prices, and this has like decreased the amount of work that I've been doing.
Yeah.
So last year I kept that at around 85 gigs, and then I think this year I'm set to do a little bit less. But I think this year is kind of like an off year. Like I feel like it's gonna be a slow year in general. I don't know.
That's
I
what
don't know. I
everyone's
don't know
saying.
about you, but for me, like my numbers have been down as far as like
Yeah,
booking.
I
But
just
for
booked.
next year, I'm actually ahead, which is it's
So that
crazy.
yeah, this year I last year I did 74, and then this year I'm at 55. I just booked one last night. We were talking about
Yeah,
not booking. I even marked
yeah,
on my calendar in October like, don't book this Friday because it's gonna give you a triple. And
yeah.
then the lead came in and like, are you open? And then she booked a consultation too, and I was like, all right, I did the Zoom and I booked it. You can't help yourself. But yeah,
Yeah.
this year seems at this point, where are we at? People are still booking for
Yeah.
2024
So I
here.
was reading an article. It wasn't DJ related, but it was jewelry related. And they said that this was going to be a relatively slow year for weddings because on average, people date for about 3 to 4 years before they get married. So what happens was last year they didn't sell as many wedding rings as they thought, and that's because 3 years before that was COVID, so people weren't dating.
Yeah.
So they said they're expecting a relatively slow year for weddings, but 2025, because 2021 is when everything started opening. 2021 was when everything started opening again. So they're expecting like a record breaking year for 2025, but a slow year for 2024.
Okay.
This was, you can look it up. I'll send you the article. It's like a jewelry related article.
No, that sounds right. I've heard people say that as well. Yes, this year is slow as fuck. This time period too has been weird. I last year I probably had already done 10,
Yes,
12 by now. I've only done 2.
bro. I went on a Euro trip because it was so, bro. I haven't had a month off, like a full month off in a long time. So this was so I've been doing clubs again, which has been keeping me busy. I know
I
right now I'm like hating it, but I know once wedding season starts, I'm like, man, I missed January, February.
wasn't
I
doing
was
anything.
chilling.
Yeah.
Yeah,
When you got back into the clubs, was that like sliding back in the pocket? Because I know that's what you used to do.
yeah,
You know, like it's a totally different experience. I always ask club DJs like,
yeah.
it's different vibe, like music and feel and stuff. You
So for
know.
me, I only do Latin clubs, and it was just like a homecoming. Like
Okay.
it's just like I don't know. I feel right at home, and I've missed it for a while. I got burnt out from it, but I've missed it, so I've been like loving it, and like I don't know. It's been fun. I've been having a lot of fun with it because it's just when you stop doing something for a while and you get back on it, you're like, oh, it's all like fresh and new, and like
Yeah.
you enjoy it. Yeah,
It's nice to do it.
yeah.
Hey, everybody, I want you to say thanks to DJ Barr for being here and hanging out. Bro, this was super fun. We got about 80 people here. Is there
Awesome, man. That's
y-
that's that's a good crowd. I was nervous. I was like, oh man, hopefully people come.
Yeah, me too, or else I was gonna cut this shit short. I'm like,
Oh man,
really?
that's
Even
awesome, guys.
he's
Thank you, thank you. Thank you guys so much for coming out. Thank you, Aaron, for having me. It was a pleasure, man.
It was fun, man. This was a lot of. That's what I thought. Like, I want to get you out. Maybe it'll put some juice back in your balls for YouTube.
Yes.
You know, get you
Oh
excited.
no, bro. The views are coming, man. The views. I mean, the views. The videos are coming, man. The views. I mean, the videos are coming. I have a ton of videos I gotta. I gotta ask what they want to see. Like, I have a New Year's video that was freaking crazy. It was with my friend from Orlando. We did these kinetic spheres type things. So they're like these lights that like drop down and go up and drop down. So that was a sick thing. We did another last year. I got flown out a lot, so I got to go to a couple places where I showed up and they like gave me like celebrity treatment. And they're like, "Oh yeah, this is your setup," and they had like giant LED walls, like WWE style setups for weddings. I'm like, what the hell is going on? And like I have all these videos that I haven't shared, and I'm just like, man, I can't wait to show people what I've been up to.
I think that sounds exciting to me, you know, because it's been a while. It's
Yeah,
you know what, I think even with content, it's okay to go away for a little bit. I think a
yeah.
lot of times people that create content, you feel like if I don't produce and create content consistently, I will lose my audience. They
I
will
mean, that's what I think. I think to me, I'm like nobody even remembers who I am now by this point.
no. You know, your views are still, I mean, you're still, your videos are still getting hits and people are still subscribing, and so even though it's been almost like you said, a year since
It's been
something
a
fresh
year,
came out,
yeah.
coming back, it almost. I saw like I watched Pat McAfee his show. I like sports and everything, and so
Oh
he
yeah,
even
yeah.
said like, "Hey, football's over. We're gonna take a break. Come back fresh. You know, all that." I think that's good. It's good advice for content creators to know like, hey, it's okay to like rest a little bit.
Yeah.
Get
You know what's so
excited about it.
funny too? Like it wasn't just me. Like I feel like a lot of like big name YouTubers are also like retiring. I'm like, oh man, it must be something in the water because like I like everybody was like saying like, oh, taking a break or like leaving or retiring from YouTube. Like you see so many like happening. I'm like, oh man, like TikTok really lit a number on all of like us YouTubers, like OG YouTubers.
I do. I saw like a lot of those in the in like the home feed of YouTube. Like I'm goodbye all this, and I don't know if like what it was about this year or this time. I didn't really watch any of them, but
Yeah.
I don't think YouTube has done anything. Like the strike you got is crazy that they would give you a strike and not a warning. That's terrifying. 'Cause
Oh,
you lose,
bro, I was
you get
freaking
3, it's
the
over.
fuck
You're
out.
done.
Yeah, I was freaking out when I got that. That was nuts. That's also why I kind of eased up on the gig logs for a little bit. This was 2022 when this happened, but yeah, in 2022 when I took a little like 6 month hiatus, that was because of that strike. I couldn't do anything.
They wouldn't even let you put anything out. Is that kind of
No.
what happened? Oh,
Yeah,
Jesus.
your channel gets blocked. Like it's like a weird. You're like in limbo, and it has like a countdown. Like before, once you get out of jail, it's like you're almost like in jail.
Wow.
Yeah.
All right. Well, everybody, seriously, bro, thanks for jumping on. I really appreciate it. This was fun. And looking forward to seeing 2024 bar content and everybody that was here today. Appreciate it. Say bye. Say bye, bye, bye. And then I'm going to
Bye.
peace out, everybody. Where's my video? It's right there. All right. Later.